So over the weekend, we got a new movie from legendary director Steven Spielberg, Disclosure Day. I think like most people, I am a huge fan of Steven Spielberg, especially his, run throughout the 70s through the early 2000s. I think it's not really an argument to say he is the most iconic director of all time. When you look at his impact on popular culture and his success at the box office, he's just had a hand in so many iconic movies that people would say are their favorite movie of all time. And you could pick from Jaws or Jurassic Park or Schindler's List, or, there's just everyone could have a different favorite Spielberg movie. But I feel in the later half of Spielberg's career, he's been very hit or miss. And while I don't think Disclosure Day is a total misfire, I overall thought it was disappointing. This was actually one of my most anticipated movies of the year. I was just excited to see a new Spielberg movie in theaters. I think the last one was The Fabelmans, which I didn't get the chance to catch. And before that, it was West Side Story, which was during COVID. Spielberg returned to the big screen with a new Alien movie, and we all know, his history with aliens. So I was excited. Josh O'Connor is one of my favorite actors in Hollywood right now. I think he's great. Coleman Domingo is in this. Emily Blunt. So I thought, it was going to be a pretty good time at the movies. I thought the original story, I was just excited for it. But overall, the movie feels out of place. It feels like a movie that should have come out in the maybe 90s. Everything about it just feels a little bit dated and a throwback and not a good way. I guess the simple synopsis of the movie would be basically that there is a government agency attempting to keep the secret of the existence of alien life, and that we have had contact with aliens under wraps, and there is a select group of people who have a personal connection to these aliens that are trying to reveal the truth to the world, but are being thwarted by this government agency. So first things first, the movie's just paced really poorly, in my opinion. The first 2/3 are really, really slow. There's some interesting stuff here and there. There's a couple of chase sequences, like there's a car chase that's shown in the trailer that's exciting, but a lot of it is kind of setting up the world. But going into it, we already know that aliens are real. I mean, that's the premise of the movie, is that they're trying to reveal the secret of aliens to the world. But they spend so much time setting it up when we already know that going in. So it just kind of feels redundant, and you're sitting there waiting for something to happen. And it's kind of just a lot of sneaking around and talking about how people deserve to hear the truth and stuff like that. And it starts to get to a repetitive thing where they get away from the bad guys, and then the bad guys figure out what they are, find them, and then they have to run away. And it just keeps repeating over and over for the first 2 hours of the movie. And it got old pretty quickly. And speaking of the bad guys, that's kind of what I mean when I say this is a throwback and not a good way. These feel like such generic government bad guys. They're just the government agents that you see in every science fiction or spy thriller movie that are trying to chase down the heroes, but are so incompetent at their jobs that it's not really they don't really seem like much of a threat. And also the trailers just give away so much of this movie. They said they were hiding stuff, but they really weren't. I think you could probably guess what happens in the movie from the trailers, but the trailers do make it seem more thrilling than it is, when it's really more of a drama, and a lot slower than the trailers would make it seem. This is definitely one of those times where I kind of overhype myself, let my expectations get a little bit too high. And I know it's not necessarily the movie's fault, that it's something I didn't want it to be. I mean, when you're making a movie about aliens, people want to see more science fiction stuff. This is really not really a sci-fi. There's some science fiction stuff sprinkled throughout, but it's really more like a spy thriller. If you could substitute aliens for maybe it's a cure or some data leak of any kind, in it would stop being a sci-fi movie. And I think that if you're going to make a movie and market it about being about aliens, then you should probably have more aliens in it. The screenplay is written by David Koepp, story by Spielberg, and the dialogue is just not that good in this. It's very on the nose. There's some really lines that I was like, that is way too forced. And there is good performance in this. Like Josh O'Connor is good as always. Coleman Domingo, Colin Firth, Emily Blunt, I think gives the best performance of her career in this movie. I have never been like a huge fan of her, but she was great in this. She was definitely the standout, and I think she will and deserves an Oscar nomination, and I'm pretty sure she'll get one. But they're just given such stupid lines to say at times. It really is a disservice to them. And these characters just aren't interesting. They're good actors, but we just don't really care about these characters. It's hinted at that their backstory. We do eventually find out how they are connected to the aliens, but I feel like that should have been at the start of the movie, because the whole time it's building up, but we don't know why we're supposed to care about these specific people besides them telling us they are special. But they don't really prove it. They just, kind of keep running away from the government agents over and over while we hear "you two are the ones." And after 2 hours of that, I started to get tired of it, and I didn't really care why they were special anymore. So yeah, I think the script and the pacing are the movie's two biggest detriments. That it's just way too long. That's it. It's 2.5 hours long, and 2/3 of it are slow and for the most part boring. However, there is that last third. The last 40 minutes or so of this movie are really, really good. It's really engaging. It kind of finally shifts into a new gear after you're waiting for it the whole movie, and things start finally getting exciting. You like lean forward in your seat because you're getting invested in it. The ending, I've seen, is pretty mixed opinions from people, whether they liked it or not. I liked it a lot. I do get what people were saying about how it's not very realistic and maybe a bit out of touch with current times, because I'll just say Spielberg has a very naive look at how the world would react to this information. And it kind of just doesn't play in what we live in today. Like, I think we're just in a much more cynical society than, from if this had come out maybe pre, 9/11, when Spielberg was at the top of his game, and it came out like mid 90s or something. I think it would have been more with the times, with the way this is. I mean, we live in a time where the US government basically confirmed the existence of aliens, and people didn't really care. I mean, it was a kind of flash in the pan thing. No one really talks about it. And that's what this whole movie is about, is trying to reveal the existence of aliens to the world. And it's a huge deal. But I do think of myself as a bit of an optimist, and I think the more optimistic viewpoint of humanity from the end of this movie, it resonated with me, and I liked it. There's also controversy about the design of the aliens in this. They are, it's already been in the trailers, so I'll just say it. They're the classic little gray aliens with the big eyes, like the classic alien look. So a lot of people found that like hokey and unoriginal, but I thought it was charming. I mean, I'm not going to take aliens seriously either way on a movie unless they're like scary, and this isn't a horror movie. It just wouldn't fit with the tone of the movie if they were like really freaky looking. So to make them, the classic humanoid aliens, it was fine with me. But overall, I would say Disclosure Day is a 3 stars out of 5. It's definitely not a terrible movie. There's a lot of good stuff in it, but it's outweighed by a bad script that's paced very poorly. There's a lot of downtime. There's a character that... There's a lot going on in the movie. There's a character that's struggling with their faith because of the existence of aliens. There's this whole government agency thing. There's themes of hiding the truth and the destiny of humanity. There's a World War III subplot in this. There is like some tension between Coleman Domingo and Colin Firth. There's the backstories of the main characters. Emily Blunt has a whole deal with Wyatt Russell, who plays her boyfriend in this movie, and they have like some drama between them. And I think it's just too much packed into one movie. I think it should have been condense down, maybe focus a little bit more on the aliens' interaction with humanity and how we deal with that, rather than just the whole movie being about trying to reveal the secret and that is the end goal. And yeah, it just was a letdown because I wanted something new and I got something that didn't feel very fresh. And yeah, I wanted to like it a lot more, but that's how it shakes out. But what did you think of Disclosure Day? Let me know down in the comments. Let me know if you disagree or agree with me on the movie, if you've seen it, or if you haven't, let me know if you're going to see it. I would still recommend it if you're a big fan of Spielberg, or just, interested in alien stories. But I have seen a lot of people say they loved it, so I could be in the minority, but I don't think this one will become a classic or anything. I think it's going to fade away pretty quickly. Anyways, if you enjoyed my review, please leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.